Well, we're here at the John Smith Stadium in the aftermath of Manchester City's convincing 3-0 win against Huddersfield Town. We're just watching the Huddersfield players warm down here, Kevin. Pretty tough day at the office for them. They're 10 points now off safety. Newcastle United in 21, Huddersfield on 11. They've got two teams above them. What's their situation now? How do they go forward? Obviously, they want to get a new coach in the next week or two. It might be this guy, Jan Sievert from Borussia Dortmund. But if he does come in, what's his job? What's his task when he comes in here?
They look doomed, don't they? I have to say that. It's going to take a remarkable turnaround in results and performances. They have to probably. I think they've got to play a different style of football if they're going to try and win points. I think largely when I've watched Huddersfield over the last two seasons, it's been about containment rather than actually say, well, look, you can generate a great atmosphere here at the John Smith Stadium. Let's get at teams. Today is a bit different because you're playing against a top-class side, but I'm talking about them in general, and I don't think they've done that enough. So if the new coach was to come in, I think there's got to be maybe a more positive mindset, I think, within the squad. And I think that's where they might be able to pick up points. I don't think they're going to stay up regardless of who comes in now. I think they've got tricky results coming up. So I think it's going to be difficult for them towards the back end of the season. And I feel as though now it's about building towards next season. Can you maybe target players for the summertime that you're going to bring in for next season and have a serious promotion push next year in the Championship? That's the way I think it's got to be for Huddersfield. They've done great in staying up last season. And I think now it's about building for the next 5 to 10 years, I suppose, at this club.
Manchester City, as we know, they went through a bit of a rough patch in December, back-to-back defeats, Crystal Palace and Leicester City. They look like they've really recovered. I have to say, I feel that the games previous to this, they looked like they were back in form.
Yeah.
But today, although they got the 3-0 win, they really didn't get, like, they didn't hit top gear, did they? No,
I'd be totally with you on that. I think they cruised through the first half. There was very little pressure being put on the midfield players, Fernandinho, Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne in the first half. They had a comfortable day, and I thought they were quite lax in possession. I thought they give the ball away a lot. I don't think they really had that cutting edge and that real clinical side to them that we've seen from them in maybe recent seasons and even recent weeks that you spoke about there. I think it was largely down to the fact is how Huddersfield played. I think maybe give Huddersfield a bit of credit for the game plan that they set up just to contain City, and that was how it worked for them, really. We didn't see an awful lot from Sergio Aguero today. Sané and Sterling were fairly quiet, I suppose, in the first half as well. And then they had that spell, obviously going in at half-time 1-0. They had the spell where they scored 2 goals in a few minutes, and that was it, game done then, 3-0 up. They cruised through the last half an hour of the match. And that was largely down to maybe bringing David Silva on. I think he helped them. I think we saw the best of De Bruyne then when Silva came on. Those two had a great understanding in midfield. But you're right in saying it. I think it was about City today conserving energy because they've got better sides to play against in the coming weeks. And I think they've got a lot of games coming up where Guardiola's got to maybe look at the squad rotation side.
You mentioned Guardiola. His opposite number, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, is dealing with a bit of an injury crisis at the moment. We know about all their problems on the right-hand side. I'll come back to Liverpool in a moment, but when you look at them having injury problems, City are starting to get players back, and that man you mentioned, Kevin De Bruyne, you know, he hasn't played too many games this season. He's back fit again. He's going to be fresh for what is going to be a crucial period, and he could be a big player for them over the next few months. Yeah,
a massive player. He's a massive player for them. I think if they're going to have a serious push at the Champions League, which is what's wanted at the club. I think we know that. The owners have stressed, and Guardiola stressed it himself at the start of the season. Champions League is what they want here as a football club. Yes, of course, the Premier League is the old style, they would say, your bread and butter. That's where they want to be winning as well. But the Champions League is the real goal of the football club. So if they are going to do that, they need De Bruyne. And De Bruyne today, I said before, first off, I thought it was as lax as I've seen him, actually. I thought he'd give the ball away needlessly at times. He just looked like he wasn't quite at it. Second half, we saw Kevin De Bruyne really start to dictate the match. He started to have a massive influence on City. And I think, as I said before, that was maybe down to Silva coming on, that understanding that they've got where they're able to play off each other. And then I think in the coming weeks, I think De Bruyne is going to get better and better and better. And I'm sure what's been in Guardiola's mind, where he's used him recently off the bench, he's used him for an hour, he's taken him off, he's tried to keep him fresh with the mindset of, we've got massive games coming up, I've got to have this player as fresh, as fit as possible, and I think then we'll see the best of De Bruyne, and I think he will be a key player for them at the back end of the season, yeah.
Well, we'd really fancy them in the upcoming cup games, of course, Burton, and they've got the FA Cup next week against Burnley.
Yeah.
But after that, then it's Newcastle in the Premier League. Again, it should be another win for Manchester City before those two big games against Arsenal and Chelsea. Is it crucial that he gets 6 points from those two matches? If he doesn't, is the title race over?
No, I don't necessarily see that, but City have got the quality and the talent where you expect them to get the 6 points from it. Looking at Liverpool yesterday, they're probably getting a little bit of luck along the way in that Palace game yesterday, I would say. putting massive pressure on City coming into this game today, and I think wherever they're going, if you play first and you get that win, you can relax a little bit for a couple of days, watch City, and just keep that little bit of pressure on them. But City are able to keep up with them, so I think there's going to be a lot into March and even into April this year. I think we're going to see sides dropping, both sides dropping points, but if they can win those 2 games, I think it puts massive pressure on Liverpool, and knowing that Liverpool have got these teams to play further down the line themselves. So that's the only thing that I would think within City towards the back end of this season now. Certainly in those 2 games, get the wins in the Premier League, get them done and dusted, put pressure back onto Liverpool, and I think that's the way it's got to be for them towards the end of the season now. And I think they've got enough quality within them to seriously stay with Liverpool. I would probably say I just maybe edge towards City for the league. That's the way that I'm looking at it. I think Liverpool have got a fantastic side, but I think City, with the depth of the squad that they've got, I think City are just favourites for me.
I said Liverpool at the start of the season, Kevin. I'm not changing my mind now. I'm still going to stick with them. Let's look a little further down the table, because of course there was big results yesterday. Manchester United just can't lose under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it seems, and also Arsenal with I thought a surprise victory against Chelsea, the way Arsenal have been playing over the last few weeks. Yeah,
I fancied Chelsea yesterday coming into the match, and it looked to me watching Chelsea yesterday, well, Chelsea just weren't quite at it like they had been. Chelsea had been on a great run of form, they'd been playing to a good level, whereas I think tactically, Unai Emery had done a job on Maurizio Sarri yesterday. I think that's the way it was. As for United, I don't think it was a great performance. I watched the game. First half, they play with a great tempo. That's the thing that is very noticeable about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side now, where they're getting the crowd on side in the first 10 or 15 minutes. It's almost what you expected from a United performance when I would have played against them in the past as well. They were right at you in the first 10 minutes. The crowd were right behind them, and by and large, for the last couple of years when I've been going to Old Trafford, it hasn't been that way. They haven't started games well, they haven't got the crowd on side, they haven't got the crowd right up for it. Whereas now we're seeing a different side under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So yeah, I think that's the message, I think, that he's been trying to get over to the players in the early stages of matches, yeah. And
as important as Kevin De Bruyne might be for Manchester City in winning the title if they can, Marcus Rashford might be just as crucial to United's chances of getting top 4. He's been absolutely superb and like a new player under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
He's an incredible footballer. We've known that for such a long time now, and I know that maybe some people might question his attitude, that he's not been able to show it. I don't think he's been given the chance to shine properly under Mourinho. I think he's held him back a little. I think he's tried to have him playing in a certain role, whereas Solskjaer knows exactly what it takes for a striker of his ilk. He knows exactly what he would be wanting, and unquestionable talent. I would probably say the best. We've seen Raheem Sterling today. We've seen various players. I think he's the best young England player, and I've thought that for a number of years. I think he has the talent. I think he's got the technique. He's got the quality, and I think he's got the mindset as well. Even at United, when things weren't quite going for him, his work rate was always there. You always saw him giving a great performance in terms of the shift he was putting in for the side. So I think the form of Marcus Rashford will be key for United getting top 4, yeah.
So if we say that the top 3 is going to be City, Liverpool and Spurs,
it looks that way, yeah.
Do you think then, is it going to be Chelsea, Arsenal or Manchester United to get the 4th place and Champions League spot?
At the moment it's looking United, isn't it? That's the thing. The form that they're in, I think the real buzz that's back around the club again now as well. United are looking increasingly likely to take that 4th spot, yeah.
So Kevin, you won't be on off the ball, I don't think, tomorrow. We do have a cardboard cutout of you in the studio to fill that void, but you will be able to see Kevin during the week or listen to him on Off the Ball, and we'll hope to catch you then.